Okay. Where am I at? Oh no, I didn't do the thing. I thought I did everything, but I guess I didn't do everything. I forgot to do this. Most important part. Alright. I almost bought some lights today. I was at the grocery store and I was looking, I was like, man, I could get some light bulbs to put up here. The RGB kind that would hook up to my phone, that hook up to the light strip that I have here. But the reason I didn't is because I was thinking, I was like, man, this light isn't, it doesn't sync up to anything. It lets me change the colors and all, but it's not like, what I wanted at one point was like all Corsair stuff or all Razer stuff. I wanted to hook up with my games and all, and I don't want to have to manually do it, so here we are. Oh boy. I was looking at videos of this game. The one that's coming out this year, what is it called? Like Rogue City? Um I don't know, man. It's funny because I've heard on podcasts where people are like, this game looks kind of bad. And then I saw it myself and I was like, it doesn't look that bad. It looks like the kind of game that if you're expecting it to play like Call of Duty or let's say Bulletstorm or let's say Dusk, let's hit all three of the big genres. You got your realistic Call of Duty shooter or whatever. You got your Bulletstorms that are like hyper arena focused or whatever. You got your like, what do they call them? Boomer shooters. It doesn't look like any of those. It looks like a game where you play as RoboCop and you're just like a unstoppable killing machine, pretty much. So I was gonna say that Robo Demons game right there. It looks like a Color Dreams game. It looks like one of the games that would be on Action 52. I think it's the same company. I'm pretty sure I streamed this. I don't know. It doesn't have anything saved for me. Like I don't have a score on it or anything. Whatever. Let's go. No achievements either. Amazing. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Be centered, camera. Come on. Nope, too low. Slightly better, yeah. Oh, too high. We're good. Okay. Got Hayate and Kaidi. Hayate. I've never been her. I would usually just hit start if I'm gonna play this game. So, before I begin, fun thing about this game. So this game, this is Shadow of the Ninja. Clearly it's Shadow of the Ninja. I'm saying this for a reason. This game is clearly whatever this is, whatever you want to call this. Like the movement is what it is. You got this kind of sword, whatever. You're a ninja. You got two characters you can choose from. Okay. We're gonna play this for a second. When it's killing everybody, cool. I can hook onto the top of this stuff, go back underneath, whatever. There's also, I believe there's power-ups and stuff in this game. I think you get like better swords and different weapons stuff you can attach. Let's see. Here we go. So I've got these now. Okay. There's an ammo counter there. Alright. Fun fact about this game. I want to say, so same time this series is running, there's also Ninja Gaiden. To me, these are two distinct games. I didn't know this game existed until I got an emulation like later on. By later on, I mean, whatever, what was it, like, maybe like 98, 99 or something like that for me. It's just really funny. So, when they were making, what happened is they made like a Ninja Gaiden on Game Boy, and I don't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Ninja Gaiden, but it's this game. And I don't remember what the deal was with it, but it's a really interesting thing. Like, if you know that, you look at it and you're like, why is this game so different? You're like, oh, because it's clearly Shadow the Ninja. I'll check that one out in a second. What would have been really cool, because Shadow the Ninja, I don't remember what cover this is, but I know Ninja Gaiden is from Tecmo. It'd be really cool if they put these characters in Dead or Alive. If they made another one. I don't know if they were going to make another one of those games, honestly, after everything that happened the last one. The last one is the one that they showed at E3, Dead or Alive 6, I believe. And it had the... I think they were showing it, I think it was E3, it might have been Evo, I don't know what it was, but they were showing the game off. And the developers, or whoever they had on screen to like present the game, were just obsessing over the fact like, oh man, look at how ridiculously sexy these characters are. It's a very annoying character archetype. I'm going to run at you and just push you around. Call it the linebacker. What the fuck was that? What did I fail? What did I do? I must maybe don't use that weapon. Oh, I must have, maybe because I went backwards or something. Okay, now I'm back to the regular sword. Good riddance. Okay. That person just alternates between standing and crouching. Man. I'm gonna say I miss when companies are making games like this, but even like they're, I don't know, I feel like every indie platformer now, like you don't get these. You get, every indie platformer now has to be a Metroidvania. You rarely get like a game that's just like, oh, just go to these levels. Let's try again. Oh shit. Oh, good lord. He almost tricked you with this plan. The guy went to martial arts training for his entire life to learn how to be as annoying as possible. What do you want to specialize in? Pushing people. Oh, look at that. Shit. We're good. Okay. Ooh. I thought it was invincible. Man, it's like not invincible. I just lost whatever I had. Dumb. Boss fight? Boss fight. I've never seen an enemy that looks like it's more from another game than that thing right there. Like that right there looks like if you told me like, oh, there was some sort of like weird like mech game that came out on like the Super Nintendo and this is the main character of it, I would 100% believe you. It whoops. Can I go up here? Nope. Seems like this game would have a double jump. Yo! Respect! Look at the animation of those guys. They pull out the little straw. That's so cool. Oh man. Back when everybody was obsessed with ninjas. Including me. Like it wasn't just the Ninja Turtles, it was ninjas in general. Like, come on, you got the American Ninja movie series. This is what was going on in the sewers in the 80s. This is the problem with America. It was ninjas running our sewers. Shit. Get off of me. Same thing. I was thinking it was two. Ah, got a challenge. Yo, I really like the way this looks. This looks so cool to me. Oh no. Oh man. Ooh, this man. One more shot. Man, they cheating, man. Man, golly, man. Man, they be jumping on stuff, man. You can't even doing that, man. Alright. We're on to something. Still got one left. Okay, we're good. Only got one shot to not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes to a lifetime. Fuck. trying to hit it and then drop, but I don't think I can do that. I can't do it, I'm sure somebody can. You think if... I'll try that. Probably won't. This might be my last continue. Like, it's not in game, but this might be the last one I do myself. And keep moving on. See, the thing about the 90s is there was a period of time when countries were cool. You're like, man, well, it wasn't just Japan either. Japan was definitely one of them. At least as an American. But like Australia, like Crocodile Dundee was around, and like the idea of Australia was so cool because they got boomerangs over there. I want a boomerang. That was it. That's as far as that thought went. Okay, so we're gonna give this a 4.5. I think that's better than Ninja Gaiden 1. Is it better than 2? I don't know if it's better than 2. It's better than 1. I think 2 is better than 3, so I don't know. I feel like this is like, if I was to rank them, I might say like Ninja Gaiden 2, this, Ninja Gaiden 1, and then Ninja Gaiden 3. And the only problem with Ninja Gaiden 3 is Ninja Gaiden 3 is too hard. Just to back up what I'm talking about here, just so I'm not completely crazy. Ninja Gaiden Shadow is what they call it. And the box is clearly Ninja Gaiden. But like, I'm pretty sure this is the game that when you turn it on, you're like, wait, what is this? Why is this? I've got achievements for this one. This is what I played. My power is the fear of mankind. Weird. Destruction and terrible death. There's despair in the skyscraper. The fight against the evil. The most generic story. A man appears from the darkness. His name is Ryu Hayabusa. His eyes are so big in this. Jack was not yet been awakened. I think that was I think it's supposed to be the jackal, but they couldn't translate it properly, so you get whatever that is. So he's French. Like, I don't know what this is, just make him French. That'll fix everything. All French people are evil. Or something. The thing had to explode. It's just designed to screw you over. It's really funny. That is super funny to me. Like, it's even almost the same animation, because he can't do this in the other games. Anyway. Yeah. I'm looking at this game and I'm like, this is like modern Ninja Gaiden, if anything. I don't even mean modern, I guess, like, you know, like the Xbox ones or whatever. I feel like, I think there's a stage for the trilogy. I'm sorry, I'm having flashbacks to playing those games. I remember getting the first Ninja Gaiden and, you know, reading about it in the magazines, because at the time I was playing, well, you had Devil May Cry was around, but, I don't know, man. You fight on the blimp. I just remember reading in magazines about, like, oh, this is one of the hardest games I've ever played in my life. gonna give a lot of people a hard time, but you know, it's one of the best games ever. So when I got it, I was like, man, I can't beat the first level. And it wasn't the first level, it was the boss of the first level. It's not really a pattern, my dude. That looks like. It's like he's using a box cutter or something. It's not even. It's definitely not a sword. What else is new? Last night I was out for a long time. I wish I could show the thing that I got, but I don't feel like messing with my camera that much. I got a It doesn't matter. It's not like anybody's gonna see this. I got a Quest stand, Quest 2 stand for my headset. That my I thought the thing was charging. That my my nephew's stepdad gave me. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I have hooks in the wall that I use to put the Quest on. I've actually been. The problem is that I have that the little back piece, like the Halo style helmet. I think that's what they call them. The one that looks like a PSVR helmet. I bought that for my Quest, and it means that it doesn't fit on my stand properly, or the hooks that I have properly. Like kind of the weight's messed up. So now I got this stand here. It's okay. It's working out all right. It's kind of the same issue, but I can keep it closer to my desk. I can look over right now and see it. It's on the other side of my room, so I don't feel like shit. Shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Fuck. Fucking hell. Okay. Sorry. I know I've played this before, but I don't remember much about it. I never got that far in this game. Like, this is probably the furthest I've ever been. Because my experience would have been, oh man, yeah, that game exists. Let's check it out. And that would have been it. Oh no, I did it again, didn't I? Ocean. What is it? Potion seller. I'm preparing for battle. I need your strongest potion. You can't handle my strongest potion. Patience. There's no timer. It's the one thing every ninja knows. Ninja, please. Oh, what is your martial art? Walk with a shield? Okay, and then what? No, that's it. That's all I do is walk forward with the shield. Spent my entire life mastering walking with a shield. Oh, what's yours? I use a gun. Oh man, could use that for sure. Oh, well. Yo, he's got a little dude with him. You got a Ferritor going on. And the big dude just walked around and just kicks. Gives you the Beavis and Butthead kicks. That's what we're gonna call him. Or you can't kick his leg out that far. I really do like how detailed the smaller model is. You can see the little like glasses and everything on him too. Uh-oh. He just walked up to Sorry. The animation is in my head. I'm assuming this is like a full-size human. Like, no, that dude is like, he's like this tall because he's got the proportions of a regular human, but he's shrunk down. So he's running over to you and just squeezing onto your leg. Like, what? What? Oh man, that's good. That's good. I don't think. I mean, I guess they worked it out. I don't think you can legally do this. You can't just make your game somebody else's game and then use their music and be like, ah, no, we did it. We did a model swap and we used their music. This is now officially Ninja Gaiden. Have they done another collection? I don't think they have. I think the only collection, the only Ninja Gaiden collection is you got the 3D ones and you got the Super Nintendo one back in the day. Story about that game. I got that game. I used to rent that game all the time. I didn't know that game was, quote, bad. Some people say it's awful. You should only play the originals. I thought it was fine. Anyway. So, I had that game for my Super Nintendo, and that is one of the mini games I got rid of. I traded a kid for his Pokemon cards. He talked me into it. He had holographic Charizard. That was it. I was like, man, if I trade this one card, if I can sell it to somebody, I can buy all these games again, because this is like 1998, 99 or something like that. Turns out when you're a child, even if Pokemon cards are worth a lot of money, turns out, I don't know if you knew this or not, but kids don't really have money to spend on shit. It's like, what is that? Was that the same thing as investing, where you're just like going on good faith, like, well, this is what this is supposed to be worth? It's like Bitcoin. It's all a pretend currency. Pokemon cards are pretend currency. They were the original cryptocurrency. I guess that would have been baseball cards. Awesome. That means I can grab one of these things from the bottom and I'm not completely screwed over. Yes! I'm so happy they don't hit you backwards. Ooh. I'm on the hook for more of this level. Let's see what I did there. All being clever. I'm pretty sure whatever's going on here is an OSHA violation. What do you have in your warehouse? Well, we just have these little spinny electric things. We don't know what they do. They just go down the conveyor. They're designed, we only have them in case a ninja shows up one day and wants to shut down our warehouse. Fuck. That's it. Game over, man. Game over. That looks like a generic anime, man. Dude. Where's Bert? Fine, Bert. Fine, Ernie.
Hi, let's play hide and speak. Choose a game.
Do do do. Do 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 do.
Ernie,
Ernie.
Grover, the Count, Bert,
I want to hear these voice samples.
find the Count.
Can I? Oh, you can. You. How is this? How? How does this count as a game when all the doors are open? Like, you're not looking for anything. They're right there. It's like if somebody shows you, they give you like cards. They're like, if they're like, hey, pick a card, any card, and they show you all the cards, and they put the card down, and they're like, is this the card you picked? Because you can see all the cards. Like, what are you doing?
That's Ernie. Find the Count.
That's
That's
Grover. Find the count. Oh man.
Great. You found the Count. Now find Bert.
Nope. Won't be doing that. This is one of the games they had at the daycare. They had that, these three here. ABC, Countdown, and Hide and Speak. And then they would also, it was like, I feel like I heard the parent or whatever, the guardians, the daycare workers, whatever that were there, wondering why they didn't want to play the kid games.
The Count.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, if you're gonna tell somebody, like, hey, we've got Sesame Street, you can check out any one of these games and you get 30 minutes to play, but you have to share with the other kids. Who's gonna sit there and play Sesame Street when you got freaking Shatterhand right there? Like, look at how cool this guy is. He's got sunglasses and he's white. Who wouldn't want to play this? How do I not have a rating for this game? Do I have achievements? I do have achievements. I think I might have played this on my handheld. Jalico. I was positive that company was going to be around forever. I don't know what made me think that when I was a kid. Already it. Game is so cool. Shatterhand is definitely one of those games I remember renting. I don't know why I would have rented it. I don't know what would have compelled me to rent Shatterhand. Probably because I think I got to a point where I realized I was just renting a lot of the same games and I wanted to get different stuff. So if I didn't know what it was, like if I didn't recognize the box because I couldn't really read all that well, get it anyway. I had to explain when I was a kid. Somebody at work asked me the other day, they're like, well, they could still do a reboot of Hey Punk, Are You Tough Enough? They could show that at EVO this year. We've got a special surprise. And someone's gonna be like, oh shit, it's Beans! Oh man. If only. If only. Oh man. But this guy at work was like, oh, when you were a kid, were you into chocolate milk or strawberry milk? And I was like, honestly, by the time I could have chose, my option was to not have lunch so I could save up money to rent games. Like, yeah, I could get chocolate milk, I could pay money for chocolate milk, I could pay $1, or I could not eat and then use that money by the end of the week to rent 2 games instead of 1. My parents would be like, where'd you get the money from? I was like, don't worry about it. It's Beans! Just imagine if it had like the Mortal Kombat budget. You just see somebody walking out from the back of the crowd and it's like, oh my god, is that Ichabod Clay? So you're a ninja. It's gonna be really tough going to that Mortal Kombat 1 and not having Sylvester Stallone, sorry, Rambo there. Yeah, it's a tough. I think I'm supposed to punch the money as you do in real life. I used to think this animation of him grabbing onto the fence was the coolest thing. I do believe I tried to replicate that when I was a kid. Jumping onto a fence and holding it, like, it's the way that he grabs it, and there's an extra animation of his other side sliding down. Just looks really cool. My dumb thing I did as a kid was, the one I'll never forget was, I mentioned this before, it was trying to do the, what is it, Burn Knuckle? From, Streets of Rage? Where I was convinced that he must have been scraping his hand on the ground with so much momentum that was making fire happen and scraping at my knuckle and just bleeding from here the entire weekend. Great. Good kid stuff. Contra grab and shoot. Well, no, he's got to shatter things with his hand. This is Steven Shatterhand. I don't know what his name is. Edward Scissorhands. Oh. Pardon me. Pardon me. I'm not monetized anyway, but that is the most, like, Black Lives Matter, like, I'm going, hey, if you don't back this cause, I'm going to hang out on this fence and punch you when you pass by me. Like, what's that guy doing? Just walk by him. He's getting punched on the side of the street. Oh, man. One of the dudes I work with was, he was telling me about the games that they played in high school, because I think he might be, like, 23 or something like that. He's like, y'all remember playing Nutcheck? I was like, oh, is that the game where dudes run up to you and punch you in the nuts? It's like, no, I didn't. That was after my time because we didn't do that dumb stuff. At least this guy he's got the common sense to be like, I'm gonna run. I don't know what's going on here. I still have life left. Beta. Mindbot. That's a beta. You can tell because he got another man to help him out. What the? I do. Is that a communist? Is that just a communist? My dude has a gun and he's like, you know what's a better idea? I'm gonna hit you with this like it's a baseball bat. It's not a pistol whip because it's like a rifle. play. And make sure I shave today, because I don't want the little bumps to come back. That's where this stupid thing down here came from. It was shaved, and I had hair that was down here, and like it feels like it's an ingrown hair, but it won't go away. It's killing me. Where should I go to? What is this? This is Seattle. This is California because it's on fire. This is Pittsburgh because it's a bunch of factories. This is Area 51 because there's a plane. I don't know, and I don't know what this is. Let's go to Seattle. That's what we're gonna call these levels. Should make a guide. Refer to the level as like, oh, it's go to Seattle. You're gonna be like, what? That's not the name of that level. That level is called Area 3. I don't care. Do I look like I care? Satterhand, man. This is definitely Seattle because for some reason somebody thought a proper thing to bring into a fight was stilts. They're like, I got this. Somebody else shows up with like a gun. Like, you want one of these? No, I got my stilts. Don't worry, bro. I got this. I don't know what that is. The long leg robot man. I mean, who makes that? At least if you think about like RoboCop, when they introduced RoboCop, they're like, yeah, we got this prototype machine. One bad motherfucker. Whatever, and it's a fucking robot cop. It's like, oh man, you know how people are always shooting at your cops? What if he was a robot, but he was also part human? But this guy's just like, nah, I got stilts. Okay, whoops. Sorry, punk. You're not tough enough. I think I saw that guy trying to get like one of those like pale ales or something like that, like a craft beer the other day. Now there's a new RoboCop game coming out in like a month, I think. Dude, there was a new RoboCop movie. The one that was the problem, it wasn't RoboCop. People are cool with RoboCop. It was, it's Death Wish. The movie, they put Bruce Willis in it, but it's the movie about the guy who's like, well, in the movie, it tends to be like, somebody rapes and kills like his wife or something like that, or like a girlfriend or somebody that he knows, and he decides to go out in the streets to get revenge. It's like, maybe you shouldn't do that during the middle of the protest. It's a bad time for your cop, whatever movie, your vigilante movie. Might check that movie out one day. It does seem. I'm wondering why they decided to make it when they did. Like, that movie was in production before everything happened, but by the time they're like, going to put it out, we're like, uh-oh, we're already here now. Okay, we're good. We can still win this. Lupa, what are you doing over there? There's no water over there. Oh no! Darn. It's my last life. Gotta be my last life. I got 0. I have. I don't have any mans left to clear this board with. There we go. Let me go back into full like 90s speak. That right there, I've mentioned it before, but like, man, that used to drive me crazy. Like when I would go to somebody's house, and they're like, "Oh, if you go up there, you can get a free man." And it's like, a free what? An extra life? No, you can get a free man to clear this board. Or you know you're talking to somebody older when they refer to, like, it's not even boards anymore. It's like, oh, how many screens can you clear in that game? Screens? What the fuck? It makes sense when you see old games. If you know how retro games work, you look at, like, say, a person that would say something like that would be into, like, I don't know, Pac-Man and Galaga and whatever, Mappy. Oh, I'm not gonna say Mappy because Mappy scrolls. Let's say Pac-Man, Galaga, Donkey Kong. I cleared the 3rd screen. Got a kill screen coming up. That's how I get money in real life. I just punch bags of money. Why I'm broke. I haven't found any bags of money just laying around to punch. Mistakes were made. Here's my corpse. Laying at the bottom of this, whatever this is. GG. I like that. I like how that person at the end went like crazy on their virtual keyboard. It's all good. It's all good. Since speaking of stuff that's relevant, gotta have ass. Mortal Kombat's coming out, and like talking to people at my job that are younger than me and being like, man, hearing them talk about like, yeah, man, they're gonna have Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 1. I'm like, what's going on now? Back in my day, Mortal Kombat, it wasn't called 1, it was just Mortal Kombat. It's like, yep. Man. Good old skate or die. What is Sky Shark? What is this? This looks okay. Looking at the video in the background, I don't know anything about this game. This feels like this counts as a dad game, doesn't it? Like you get a Nintendo and your dad's like, I got you a new game. You're like, I don't want 1942. Oh, I'm sorry. And they come back like a few weeks later, like, hey, I wanted to surprise you. I saw you got straight A's. I got you another game. I got you Sky Shark. And you're like, I see a theme going on here. Okay. Okay. I like this font. I like whatever this font is. It's like that weird... To me, that looks like a caveman font. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Like, I think it's the same font they might use for, like, caveman games or something, just in a different color. This scrolls better than 1942, but... I got a turbo button. I'm using... What's that pad called? The Action Max, I think, or something? No, it was, I forgot what that thing was called. Whatever the little, like, turbo joystick thing was. I was playing Shatterhand before. This seems okay. This is... What this game definitely has over 1942, at least the Nintendo version, is that like this is scrolling really well. I don't like the fact that I died. This game is bad now. I'm looking at the graphics more so than the game right now, and I'm not really seeing any sprite flicker, which is also a huge surprise. Yikes. Yeah, Shatterhand is it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. For some reason, when I was a kid, maybe because I couldn't read, I used to get Shatterhand and Low G Man mixed up in my head. Oh my goodness. I was camping. It's the Bush Boy. Oh no. I'm done here. This feels like the perfect Nick arcade game. Like, you sitting at home and watching some kid play this and, like, not being able to make it past, like, the first little area. Shh. Yeah, this seems okay. It seems okay. Try it again. Oh. I'm in first place. I used to love it when you would go to the arcade and put your name in as like ass or dick or butt or whatever, and it would replace your name with like Cap. Whatever like company made the game was like, oh, this is now it's Data East. You don't deserve to have your fake name on here. It's rude and inappropriate. Didn't even make it that far. Okay, we're good. That's green water right there. I wish I had the time to make a list of like what were the. It's not the games that are the best selling, because you always see those lists. People talk about those all the time. But what's fascinating to me is the games that like anytime you went to somebody's house and like, hey, I have a Nintendo, there is a chance of that game being there, even if it's not a bestseller. Like, to me, that fucking WrestleMania game with Hulk Hogan on the cover, like ripping his shirt open, that one. Every kid had that. Not every kid, but like 1 out of the 5 kids in your class would have that if they had Nintendos. I missed the Master System. Didn't get to play any Master System stuff when I was a kid. I didn't even know the Master System existed. I know when I got older, man, this is destroyed here. Let's see where I continue from. Oh, I'll continue from here. I'm not gonna make it past this area. This is impossible, dude. Anyway, yeah, I didn't know anything about the Master System until probably when I got into like emulation, trying to figure out like what the Master System was. Like, oh, there's a Sega before the Sega, and then finding out that what is it, the SG-1000. I didn't know about the SG-1000. I had heard of it, but I thought it was the Master System still. Didn't know about that like really until a couple of years ago. But yeah, there's like, I think now people get obsessed with like, oh man, what's the best-selling game from this time period? But that's not the game that people remember the most. Like, proof of this is the number of people that you know that don't play games, that if you ask them like, hey, what's your favorite game on the Wii? And they're like, man, I really love Just Dance. And you're like, what? What about Mario? What? Yeah, Mario is okay, but Just Dance, man. Just Dance and Wii Sports Resort. And what's that circus game? The game with the carnival guy on the front of it? I forgot what it's called, whatever that game is. That's another, like, huge selling game on the Wii. Oh, yeah. Nintendo times, everybody had, like, the WrestleMania games. Somebody would always have Contra. There was a game called Cobra Triangle. Further proof that the best-selling games are not the ones that people have the most memories of. TNC Surf Designs. I don't know anybody that thinks that game is good, but it seems like a game that, like, any weird kid I knew that had games, like somebody that I didn't really know, my mom's like, hey, you have to go to this person's house for whatever reason. Maybe they had to go somewhere and needed somebody to watch me. They would have TNC Surf Designs. Like, is this? They're gonna need to use the bombs more. This moves really well. If I wasn't bad at this game, I feel like I would have the ability to like dodge a lot of stuff. I also appreciate that it doesn't do the thing that like a lot of games did, like Darius and stuff, where like I don't have to worry about choosing my speed. Oh no. That ship looks like it's smiling. I don't like that. It's sinister. I had a dude from my job, my last job, tell me, he was asking me about, he's like, oh, you're into retro games. Hey, what's up, Ben? And he was like, man, you remember this one game? Oh, sorry. I'm laughing because it was like, I knew what he was talking about, and I was like, he's like, yeah, man, I used to play this shit all the time. And it was two games he was talking about. He's like, yeah, you remember that one game that had the guy with the hat? And I was like, are you talking about Shotgun Forever, man? He's like, yeah, that was it. It's like, why? Why is this one of the like five games that came to your mind when you talk about old games to somebody? He's like, yeah, man, that game was awesome. It was that, and it was I think it was Wolfchild. It was this right here that he had really good memories of. So weird. But again, when you're a kid and you just get these games, it could be a birthday present or something like that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like your weird uncle. It's like I'm gonna get you a game because I know you like games, and all of a sudden, like the only game you get is like I don't know. Let's stop here. No, that's a good game. What I just saw Tommy Lasorda baseball. So this is what you get to play. It's like I'm gonna go play my Sega Genesis, Mega Drive. Yeah, I was actually thinking about Narc recently. Um, I never played the Nintendo part of it. Let's see. I was thinking about Narc because with all the talk about Mortal Kombat 1, I was like, what if they've got the cameo characters that come in like random assists? It's like, what if they called in one of the people from Narc? Because they showed, what's his name is there? Striker, the cop from Mortal Kombat is there. It's like, what if you just put the guy from Narc in? The guys. Take this call just a second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so okay. So part of the reason I was thinking about Narc is because I didn't know. I think on the PS2 they pretty much the PS2 they tried to do a reboot of Narc. Um, in the US, I don't know how it was over there, but I know in the US, like during this time period, like when this game would have been in the arcade and on the Nintendo, it seemed like there was this message. Like we have the entire Dare program, which is like anti-drugs. It's like Dare to say no to drugs or something like that. All the arcade machines, if you see them, I don't know how it was over there, but like I know US, you go to the arcade and like half the machines would be like, winners don't use drugs and stuff. But they try to convince you, like as a kid, like, oh man, if you go anywhere, don't worry about getting kidnapped. Do worry about that, but be careful of people coming up to you and like kidnapping you and giving you drugs. It's still a concern here to some parents, but it's the most ridiculous thing. Like, man, drugs cost so much money. The idea of just like taking a kid and being like, I'm gonna get you addicted to heroin. That sounds like fun. And it's always gonna be these weird dudes in the subways that are wearing trench coats that are just dropping little things of cocaine. I like how you shoot the dogs and the dogs shrink. This is in California, or maybe that is going to California. I don't know what subway is going to California. I think the arcade version is like super violent too. The other funny thing about this game. I arrested him. I'm arresting the weird perverts, the drug perverts that run down the streets with guns and drugs on them. This is how it is in America. I mean, if you look at the news, with the number of shootings, it's kind of like this, I guess. Oh no. I heard a conspiracy theory about yeah, this is what I do. I heard a conspiracy theory about the arrest for criminals with like, they like, oh hey, we found a bust up. We've got like 5 million pounds of cocaine or whatever. It's like you'll see a similar story in the exact same area that pops up like a couple of weeks later, and it'll be like a slightly lower amount, and then it just kind of like keeps going through. People like, I think what's happening is like the cops are like redistributing it so other people can get pictures of it, so it looks like they're all getting these crazy drug busts, but they're not really happening. Or some of the stuff is like going missing or something. It's a good theory. Yeah, it's I know here the Ninja Turtles games had it quack stop. So dumb. Ah, I found the drugs. I would love to see this happen. When they show people doing like drug busts, it's like, oh, here's like a huge pile of like cocaine, here's some needles, here's like some rifles and guns and stuff. Like, what if it was just like giant vials of whatever fluid that is, just bubbling blue liquids? Cool. Aw, man. C.O. Cox. Okay. Highest narcs. I knew somebody that used to refer to anybody that she thought was a narcissist as a narc, and I was like, don't think you know what that means when people say that. Hang on, my dog is trying to eat my damn shoe. Dog is so big. Everybody, come here, 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 come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Oh, there it is. Where is he? Nope. Get back down. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I've never played the Nintendo port of that game. I'm interested. I feel like that's the kind of game that could have a really cool like a Spectrum version or something, like a version that you wouldn't think would be like good, and like all of a sudden like, this is like, oh, it's like a really interesting take on it with the limitations they'd have to do. Was this the one I played? What was that weird racing game I played? Oh, this has this guy's face in the corner. I got to do at least one race on this. I feel bad for not knowing anything about. I used to hate racing games with a passion. Any racing game, even Mario Kart, I was like, man, I don't want to drive a stupid car. I want to shoot a gun, whatever. And then I started getting into like kart racing games. And then later on, I got into like sim racing games. And then going back after you understand how sim racing games work, and seeing games like this, pretty cool. Improve. Hmm. I just want to do a race. Yeah, the closest I would get to a Nintendo racing game was Rad Racer. Anything else, dumb. Even Rad Racer, half the time I was like, I don't want to play this either. I've never really understood F1. I've got several F1 games, but I haven't really played them ever. Just because I know I'm playing F1 games wrong. Well, it's an automatic anyway. I was over here thinking I had to like shift gears or something. There's yeah, as being in the US, like I didn't understand, I didn't even hear about the Spectrum really. So I didn't understand like, what is that series, Renegade? The one that's not Double Dragon but is Double Dragon? Like I didn't understand how big Renegade was, and like going back to it, like the ports they have of that, and like the weird like UK specific versions of that are pretty interesting. Because I think the first Renegade is like, it's okay, but I'd rather play Double Dragon. But like when you see the other games, like, oh, I get it. They're actually doing something different over there. I'm holding this D-pad really hard like it's analog. Trying to get myself to not do that because I'm playing a Nintendo ROM. It's not even a regular game. Like, this is a ROM of this game. Uh-oh. Last place. Okay, now I'm in 11th spot. 11th position. Can I go off track? I can't really go off track. Oh, no. I retired. Could you imagine having such a bad day at work where you're just like, oh, I'm retiring today. I'm not quitting. I'm straight up retiring. I'm done working. I'm never doing it ever again. I like how fast it scrolls, but the game seems weird. Man. I think all I have to do to make the game playable is just get like a ROM hack that makes it a little bit easier. But I remember this game, let's see, I remember this game just being ridiculously difficult. I think the first level is okay. I think the second level is when it gets like way too hard. Just a sec. I'm still here. I'm just like eating and yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Those menacing eyes. Oh no. The number of times movies back then would use cliffs, like, they made it seem like there were cliffs everywhere. Any cartoon, any, like, you know, you'd have like a, I don't know, here you'd have Captain Planet, you might have like a superhero, like a, it could be an episode of Spider-Man, it could be Batman, whatever. At some point, somebody's going to be fighting on the edge of a cliff and in danger of walking off the cliff. You would think that they're everywhere, but like, come on. Come on. I've been near staircases, you know, that have like, oh, like this staircase is secured, there's a drop off here by like 4 feet. But I don't know about like a bottomless cliff into the ocean. There's a lot of story in Ninja Gaiden. In a way that you wouldn't assume there would be for like a Nintendo game, but that's what made it interesting. I was convinced when I was a kid you could go up here somehow, like go to a secret level or something. Yeah, it's so there was a book, I'm sure they've updated since then. It was called, is it I think it's like 1001 games you must play before you die. I don't remember when it came out. I think it's like I'm gonna say maybe 2012 or something. Because I don't think The Last of Us is in there, but I do think Borderlands is in there. Anyway, that, between that and that, I don't know if that magazine is still around, but Retro Gamer magazine, and I was listening to podcasts at the time. Most podcasts, I'm sure it's still this way, a lot of the retro gaming podcasts are covered by Americans, which is always going to have the American slant on like, oh yeah, well, games died back then, and there was nothing until the Nintendo came out. It's like, oh, well, what about the entire microcomputer thing? Anyway, that magazine, or that book, the 1001 Games You Must Play Before You Die, has a lot of Spectrum games and stuff in it. Like, it's the first time I'd heard about School Days and like Saberwolf and all these other games. Like, oh man, this is pretty cool. It's that game Head Over Heels. And I also got the understanding of like, oh, this is why people really like Dizzy. My favorite, like, it's 100% a stereotype, but it's 100% accurate. Like, thing when it comes to the US is the fact that, like, as an American, I will go so far as to say, like, I know literally nothing that's going on in most of the world, but it's like everybody knows everything that's happening here. And it leads to this thing where, like, at least still, like, Americans don't know, like, you know, like, oh, what's going on with the World Cup? If the US isn't in the World Cup, they have no clue what's happening. But it's going on. And, like, what's that show? I can't even think of what that thing is. That singing contest where ABBA came from. Whatever, like, we don't talk about it here, because it's not really an American thing. If it's not American, like, there's just no interest in it. Like, it's been really interesting seeing people get, like, what was that movie, Parasite, that came out? Where you had people here that are like, oh, I'm not gonna watch a movie where I gotta look at subtitles. Like, but what about the rest of the world? Everybody consumes your crap, your garbage, your dumb Terminator and, like, Transformers movies. Like, come on, you could at least look at subtitles for a minute. Nope. Ah, I mastered that guy. I did it. Spent my entire life training for that one moment. I think the biggest retro gaming podcast I know of is probably Retronauts, which I think is, I'm pretty sure they're known worldwide. But at least they have a couple of people that they'll bring on, like, hey, this person knows things that were going on in the UK, so they'll explain why, like, you know, they talk about, like, their favorite retro games, and it's always the same stuff. You'll have, like, you know, slightly different slants, like maybe somebody prefers action games, somebody prefers RPGs, but, like, you miss out on so much stuff here in the US by, like, just not knowing anything about, you know, microcomputers at all. And, like, man, holy smokes, like, finding out, like, you know, I could use an Amiga emulator, which I had heard of before, but I was like, what is the Amiga? And then seeing those games and be like, oh, this looks incredible. It's like I missed out, like, what's that game? Shadow of the Beast? Shadow of the Beast? Where, like, the Amiga version of that game is just, like, awesome looking with all the scrolling and stuff that's going on. Or Worms, Cannon Fodder. Yeah, it's, I am seeing a lot more stuff from, I don't know why, but it's a lot of, like, I don't think it's necessarily Portuguese, it might be Brazilians too, but I'm getting, like, a lot more South American stuff lately, which is cool. You got a handful of people that are, you know, like, UK-centric. You never really hear anything from Australians, which is interesting because I know they have their own, like, thing over there. And I know I've always been interested in, like, the German scene because I know Germany has a lot of, like, weird laws, like, hey, we can't have any sort of violence whatsoever in certain games or whatever, so. Well. Oh no, I made a terrible mistake, didn't I? I did. Yeah, the MSX was a really cool thing to come across. That and the, what is it, the Sharp 68,000? Which the first time I heard anybody talk about that was when, I think it was when Metal Gear, ooh, was it 3? I think it's Metal Gear Solid 3's Subsistence included Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 for the MSX. And then people found out about, you know, the Sharp 68,000 was out there too. I was like, oh, what's that? It's got, like, arcade perfect versions of so many games. That system looks, that PC, whatever, looks, like, really cool too. Just aesthetically. game is absolutely as hard as I remember it being. This was the issue with games that were coming out in the US, at least at this time, is that they were making the games harder. I believe the official reason is because they got tired of the American rental system, where people would just rent games. So the companies themselves weren't really making any money on them. Like Blockbuster or whoever would be. Yikes. Yeah, there's... I've seen videos of people playing Left 4 Dead in Germany. It's like any moment we're like, oh, there should be like a limb, like somebody got cut in the arm with a sword, and like, nope, they're fine. They're just gonna disappear. Their whole body is gone. I think this game is supposed to be interesting. I've never played this. I believe this game's popped up in like hidden gems lists before. HAL America Incorporated. The Fanatic Specialist. Old games having terms like fanatic on the back, or let me go to my favorite. I'm assuming I have the ROM on here. I might not. This messed me up. I will never let this go, because I mentioned this, I feel like, pretty often. I was really into reading when I was a kid. I don't have it. Let's see, maybe it's under Thunder Force. Is it Thunder Force 4, which is also called Lightning Force? Let's see. Yeah. I was convinced as a kid who loved spelling. I loved reading books. I was confused or convinced, like, if you want to spell the word lightning, there's an E in there. Lightning Force. What? This is on the cover of your game. Like, come on, that can't be what you meant to put there. There's no way. You know, thunder and lightning. I need to load this game up real quick. I need to see this first level. Yeah, I need to get into doing that. Just accepting that. Like, there are so many games that you can get that don't really have a lot of, like, words in them that you can play totally fine in any region. Like, if you get, like, the Japanese version, like, you're not going to be suffering because you can't read the menus or anything. So far, all of the games I own that are retro are American. But, yeah. This was a game that I had. I don't know how I got it. I probably picked this out. Oh man, I can... In my head, I can feel the box. I can feel the way that box felt, man. It was so good. Okay, we're gonna go to Straits, Air Raid, Dazer, and Ruin. Targets are Gargoyle Diver, Rat Carry, Formal Hot, and Hell Arm. They said a bad word. I don't know, that's... Teachers would ask me why I was so into books and reading, and it wasn't that I was into reading, it's that, like, for me, as a kid who was into video games, you know, you're just reading, like, looking at the screen right here, it says twin shot, there's left, whatever, it's how many lives I have left, which I didn't know what that meant. That's not what left is. But, my bad, I was looking at the menu over there. But I would want to know the names of the games, and I would also want to read video game magazines, and, like, video game magazines, you know, they might have been targeted towards kids here in the US, but they weren't, like, they weren't dumbed down, you know. It was just like, oh, like if you want to read about the graphics that this game has, you need to understand what the word graphics means. You need to know how to read that word and like gameplay and presentation and stuff. So all of a sudden I'm reading all these like way harder words that most kids aren't exposed to because they don't play video games. Yikes. I'm dead. Amazing. Amazing. There's no good warning on that shot right there. Oh. Yeah, I think the Saturn. When I got a Saturn, I don't think my Saturn is working. I might have messed it up trying to get into the swap disc thing. But I believe the Saturn was the console that I heard where people were like, oh, this is if you want to save money on Saturn games, just get the Japanese versions because they're super cheap. Whereas like if I was gonna get like I don't know, let's say Panzer Dragoon, like here in the US it might cost me like I don't know, let's say 50-60 bucks. If I get the Japanese version, it might be like let's say 20, maybe 10, could be even less than that. I know there are people that used to do the thing where they would go to Japan just to go to the game shops, but I hear those shops are like kind of everybody goes there now, so they all know. Okay, that's my speed. Yeah, this blew my mind when I was a kid. Like playing this game to begin with, and then being like, man, I can go underwater in this game. What? I can go underwater in this game and I'm still in the spaceship? What? Damn, I couldn't even see what I was doing right there. Wrong button. Yeah, there's so many games that I had as a kid that I don't have anymore. Where I'm like, why did I have this game? And like, man, my taste was incredible. I picked this out. Like me at like out of the like 8 years old was like, I'm gonna go get Lightning Force. I think this might have been at the video store, or it could have been my dad was in the military. The base that he was on, they would have games for, you know, there, I guess maybe because whatever, maybe people in the military here would play games. Yikes. I know his go-to was my dad used to love Galaga. So anytime I went through the game, he's like, "Oh, why don't you get Galaga?" I was like, "Well, they don't have Galaga." We always wanted to get Galaga. He's also the reason, like, he didn't play games, but he's the reason I knew about Doom at all. He was the first person that told me about Doom. Because he knew I liked video games, and he played it at work. Yikes. So cool. So cool. I rate this game a 5. Rated a 6 if I could. That game is awesome. I don't understand, so... Is it 2? Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't know Lightning Force was part of the Thunder Force series. I had never heard of Thunder Force, just Lightning Force. And when I went back and heard there were other games in the series and found out like, oh, that's the fourth game in the series, the first one I downloaded was Lightning Force or Thunder Force 2. And I was like, what is this? Because I was used to, you know, a side-scrolling shooter. I was like, used to the games looking like this, and you can go anywhere. It's so weird. Still cool, but you can see the rating here, like from fans or whatever, just people that are using this front end. 3.29 compared to 4.36 time killers. Going ape spit. What do I have on PS2 again? Right, I got Mortal Kombat. I got the Deadly Alliance. This was like one of the most recent games I downloaded. I've got I'm gonna go into the handheld section. I don't know why I haven't done this yet. I need to fix this. So I was at work and using their Wi-Fi, and I downloaded a ton of PSP games because I realized like, oh man, on my new phone, SSPP runs pretty decently. So I got like maybe 50 to 60 games or something like that. I only have a handful here. But these are the games that I would actually like, you know, play. So weird. I heard somebody mention, I think, on a podcast a couple of days ago that The Last of Us, the first one, is 10 years old now. Which they're like, man, it doesn't seem like it's been 10 years. I was like, man, The Last of Us to me feels like it came out in 2010. But it definitely had to come out later. I think I had my own apartment by the time The Last of Us came out. Because I remember I didn't have internet. I think I played that game. I think I used my phone to tether that game to play the online multiplayer. Because The Last of Us had this mode where like you would hook it up to your Facebook account and you could, you know, just post screenshots and stuff. But it would also, for the multiplayer, this is like a team deathmatch type thing or whatever, but you could collect supplies while you're in the matches, and you had like a base going, and it would pull your friends in from your Facebook account, and make it seem like, oh, like this person that you know, like that you actually know in real life, like they're setting up the doctor's office or whatever. They're gonna be your lead doctor, and they need these supplies or whatever. And I remember like seeing like there was a girl I had a crush on at the time who was like, she popped up in my fake town. I was like, oh man, I'm hooked in this game now. Anyway, let's see. I know I streamed this kind of recently. Got this on PSP when it came out because I had heard people in, I think EGM saying how good this game was for the PS2. When the PSP version came out, I was like, I gotta get it, and I played it, and I was like, man, this is like, it's so weird. The game I'm missing here is Siren. I need to download that. Anyway, let's go. SG-1000? No, I don't think so. Master System. As a person who didn't know about the Master System, I never understood the huge appeal of Fantasy Zone. I can respect it for what it is. Because they like to throw in the main character, the mascot thing, Opa Opa, whatever it's called, into all sorts of Sega games now, but I don't understand, like, anything about this series. Oh no, I'm hit. Ray-Ban. That's super dumb. Oh man. Ooh, tough. Hmm. One more time. Shit. Need more money. I don't know why. Looking at this game right now, this seems like the kind of game that would have come back around, like, for mobile. If you told me there was like a, I was gonna say like an auto-scrolling shooter, like a Vampire Survivor or something like that for this game, I'd believe you. The thing about this game too, the difficulty is like, it's just super cute, but it's tough. Oh no. Oof. For as cute as this game is, you would assume that it's like super duper ultra easy, but yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to it. Obviously got that extra shit, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I got that one power up, like I just paid, you know, in-game credits for it, and like it's already gone. As was the style at the time. I had a lemon in my belt, as was the style at the time. Oh. Yikes. Should've gone back. Just backed up just a little bit. I'm sitting here like holding the controller like it's a joystick, like tapping the two buttons with my index and middle finger. Feels so. It feels like I'm actually playing like an old game. I could definitely imagine doing this in like a Master System controller. I think it's a bit of a bummer that like they do have the mini consoles kind of coming out. Like I think the most recent one was the Holy shit! What is that? The most recent ones was the Astro City or whatever, the little arcade machine. There's also the SNK cabinet, which I keep putting that in my cart on Amazon and keep taking it back out because I'm like I can play these games on my phone or my Switch, or I've got like an arcade one up that I modded. And, like just can't justify that purchase. I keep looking at it, it's like man, I'm gonna get this one day. Just pull the trigger at some point, just go for it. What is this? The back of this box makes this game look way better than it can possibly look in game. I can't wait. Okay, let's go. By Titus. I actually like the explosion effect in this game. It's pretty cool. Uh-oh. That right there. I got one of those what's it, the Anbernic RG351V. The handhelds that play like all sorts of stuff. I was about to clock out from work the other day, and they told me to wait like 4 minutes before I clocked out. I was like, alright, because there's nothing else for me to do, so just sit by the time clock and just wait. And I had pulled out handheld, and I'm playing track and field. And I forgot, I was like, oh, you know what's actually pretty fun? Is playing the mini games in track and field. Wait, I can just fly? Anyway, playing the track and field mini games and just remembering like, oh yeah, it ends up being about like just lining up the perfect angle. I think it's like 45 degrees for most events. What a weird song. What a weird invincibility song. Like that's what they went with, huh? I can't see that this, or say that this game seems very good. It seems like, I'd be very disappointed if I got this game as a kid. It's like a Christmas present. I've seen some really surprising stuff in the Master System. What I didn't know about it is, I don't know if it's officially the deal, but I didn't realize that Yikes. The Sonic games in the Master System are pretty much the Game Gear ones. So when I remember loading up the first Sonic the Hedgehog for Master System, thinking like, oh, it's gonna be really weird. Like, hold on, I know this game. So there was a kid I knew who had a Game Gear, and he specifically had like Sonic Triple Trouble. What was the other one? I forgot what the second one was called. But he had those games, and yeah, they caught me off guard. Oh no. Am I dead? What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be a password? This is weird. Accurate. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? It's less so about the emulation. It's more because sorry, I don't have any of those mini consoles. So it seems like something that would be cool to just like have just to put on the shelf and be like, I got a mini arcade machine. I had I had bought this little tiny arcade machine from a TigerDirect.com store. They used to be Micro Centers here, and then Tiger Direct bought them, and I think they went out of business too. But they were doing like they were closing their store, and they just had everything there as like clearance. I bought the machine for like $5 or $10, and it was a little machine. And I was thinking it had like actual games on it. Like, no, it wasn't games, it was all fake games. But that made me want like a little tiny arcade machine just to put on my desk. So, but the Astro Cities sound like they're actually decent. The Neo Geo didn't seem like it was all that good. So, I like how the console changes the perspective on this game. I think the Sega Genesis version of this game has like bad reviews, but this one probably is better because if it runs bad, it's still better than like Rocky, I'd imagine. Sorry, somebody sent me a text. I'm checking that up. There's also, speaking of the Neo Geo cabinets, I don't know why, but every now and then Amazon shows me the their arcade one up. I forgot what it's called. The one that's like a it's I think it's the funny thing about their machine is like I think it's designed as being like a tabletop machine. And then you can also buy the stand, and the stand is like another like $100 or whatever. But that seems interesting. But again, I think it's just a one-player machine, which is gets rid of the point for me. Not that I ever have anybody over, but in case I did, you know, I want to play. I want to play somebody in Samurai Showdown too, and I want to play the AI. Everybody knows Neo Geo games were like notorious for having like weird AI. Push him to the wall. Come on, George. Get him. Get him, George. You got him. Get him with that right. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Just like in real boxing, there's only 2 punches. Oh, the other dude did a hook. That must be a cross. This is not. I give this game a 4. It's not a 4. What? None of you caught that, but okay, so the other guy's got his cut man in the corner trying to heal him. George Foreman's over here eating a cheeseburger. That's messed up. It's a George Foreman game. Like, don't do my man like that. I know he was big George at the time, but come on. I got you on the ropes. You're done. Do a ball rod combo. And Street Fighter's out too? Come on. I've been wanting to play VR stuff lately, but I can't do it reliably because my mom never really looks at my dog. So he's in and out of my room, and like, I don't want to be playing. I've been wanting to play that, oh man, this dude is done. That, what's it called? Walking Dead Saints and Sinners? I bought that game so long ago, and I just haven't been able to play it. I had a dog before, and then he passed away. Oh man. I think I still have some magazines. They don't have the Neo Geo in it. But I remember like looking at those things back then and being like, man, you have to be like a millionaire to afford a Neo Geo, because you know the console itself was like what, like $300. Like, oh, here's the game. The game is like $150, but it's arcade perfect. Okay. Oh, he got back up. I'm not a huge boxing fan, but it's what has been really fun for me, speaking of weird YouTube stuff, is like, oh my goodness. That guy gave me some sort of weird power punch. Anyway, looking at like major boxing events, there's I think it's Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard, I believe, where he it's a really cool story about like other dude was about to lose the fight, like he got knocked down twice, and he's like, I gotta get my head back in the game, and he just starts like coming out and like dancing and stuff, and just like I think like pretending he has more energy than he does, and the other dude's like, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. No. So good. When Fight Night came out, I played a lot of that, but oh man. Was there a fatality in that guy? Eat that cheeseburger, George. Yep. Oh, I did it. Knocked out. I don't like how much they're leaning into George Foreman being fat. I, I don't think that's. I don't know, man. This seems okay though. He's got max power. Back out of this. That was a horrible idea. Just like in real life, George Foreman between the rounds eats cheeseburgers. They don't show it in that little thumbnail down there. It looks like he's just a normal boxer. Like, no, that man got super cheeseburgers. Gangster town. Ghost house. Is this the game with the... Yeah. Yeah, when I decided to give Master System games a try, I was like, man, I want to see that one game. Because I think what happened is I played Atari 2600 games before I played Master System. And then seeing this game, I was like, man, this is like Haunted House if Haunted House had like proper gameplay. Okay. I think yeah, the one of the it's not the homebrew scene. I think it was I feel like that's a lot of what is that company Tectoy? I don't know if that's like strictly a Brazilian thing, but in the US I'm trying to think of how stuff was. Like the way I perceive things because I I'm 36. I graduated in 2005, so like when this let's say when the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo were still around, like the PlayStation, like I was definitely still in like elementary, middle school or whatever. Um, the big thing in the US has always been like new thing is out, go do the new thing. It's not so much like that anymore because there's so many live service games. I'll cut this back on. Like you got your Fortnite, you got Call of Duty Modern or not Modern Warfare, Warzone, you got Apex Legends where people are still playing those games years later. But for the longest time it was like, oh, I've got a PlayStation 3. Better yet, I got a PS2. The PS3 is out. I need to go get that now because all the games are going to be coming out for that. And within like, usually with the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, when the new thing would come out, the old thing would get like no support for the most part. I just never saw the Master System here anywhere then. We had... When the Master System would have been around, maybe what happened is in the US they were pushing the Game Gear kind of hard. And a lot of the games have like an overlap, but you got the Master System and the Game Gear version of the same game. So I think they were thinking like, well, instead of trying to compete with a Nintendo, we'll let them do their own thing, and then we'll have the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis fighting, and then the fight will be between the Game Gear and the Game Boy. But the Game Gear didn't do good either. And then it feels like a missed opportunity because, if like, say a kid can't afford a Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, like, hey, you get a Master System for like, I don't know, $70, $100 and get like 2 games with it. And again, it's cool stuff coming out for it. It's not like the games are bad. That was one of the most surprising things I remember is I think it was like 2000. We had a toy store here called KB Toys. And the Game Gear, I stopped seeing those maybe in 96-ish or something. Like it was pretty much just the Game Gear by that point. Or sorry, the Game Boy by that point. But I remember like, I'm pretty sure it was like 2000. I remember stopping into KB Toys. And for some reason, they had an entire palette of Game Gears, and they were like $20 for one. And I think the games were all super cheap too, but they didn't have a lot of games to choose from, so. But, yeah, it was just weird. Because people get so obsessed here with just getting the new thing, and the old thing doesn't matter. Again, it's better now than it was, but it's still not, like, perfect. Like, if you think about, I mean, I guess it was kind of like this here. FIFA on the PS2 sticks around pretty much everywhere forever. Like, you know, they always put up the legacy version and people still get it. Whereas in the US, people are like, no, I gotta get the new one. The old one is bad, you gotta get the new one. And the thing is, like, the old one gets, like, all the cool features, and the new one for, like, the PS3, like, you know, let's say FIFA 2007, like, on the PS3 will look better, but it has less features, but the PS2 version is the legacy version that has, like, more, I don't know, like, career modes and stuff that you can do. I really do like how this guy is just basically Alex Kidd. Okay. Forget Alex Kidd. He is Little Nicky. From the hit movie, Little Nicky. Yeah, I wonder what would have happened. I've heard other people mention this before, but like, I wonder if Pokemon never came out, what would have happened with the Game Boy? Because to me, like, the Game Boy came out in what, like 88, 89? And like, that thing was relevant until like 2000 almost, mostly because of Pokemon and the Game Boy Color. Just hit that knife? Did I punch that knife out of there? I think that was supposed to be scary, seeing Dracula or whatever appear. Alright, we're good. That seems okay. Global Gladiators. Is this the... Yeah, this is the McDonald's game. Strap on your goose shooter. I don't like that term. And join Mick and Mac, the global gladiators, on a quest to neutralize the monsters of Slime World, the Mystical Forest, Toxie Town, and Arctic World. I like how those are all trademark names. Check out the bodacious backgrounds and 1,250 awesome animation frames and the most spacious sound around. Yeah, the only games I play are games that have good sound. That's what I'm concerned about. Game doesn't have good sound, I don't want to ever play it. Okay. The perfect McDonald's does not exist. It's already fake. Woman in a white dress hanging out. She looks like she has heels on, hanging out in a McDonald's. I don't think so. Being a gladiator would be a total blast. Hey guys, if you're looking for a blast, how about this? I don't like that. I don't like him appearing from under the table. Slime roll level 1, collect 30 tokens to complete level. With 50 tokens to qualify for bonus game. I don't want to qualify. What do these people go on to do? There's something interesting. Is this... Oh, I think what this is... I think some of the people from Treasure worked on this game. Maybe not this version, but I think the original, whatever the Sadist version. I think it's one of those things where people are like, man, why does this game, like, have ideas? How would I know it's the bottomless pit? The screen's already scrolling weird. Can't drop down. Yeah, eat my goo. Boy, games used to love that. Games used to love just having secrets. Like, if you think about even Mario, like the number of times where you're just like walking through a level and like you jump in a random spot like, oh man, I found a secret. Used to be really cool. I think nowadays, like, can't really do that anymore. Imagine if you're playing, I don't know, God of War Ragnarok, and it's like, oh, if you swing your sword at this tree, sorry, your axe at this tree like 10 times, you unlock, I don't know, a secret costume to give you whatever, give you like +5 to stamina. Nowadays, people are like, that doesn't make any sense. There needs to be some sort of justification, but back then, you want to have secrets. I appreciate that I can look down. I don't appreciate is that it doesn't seem to really help me. Like, I'm assuming that's a bottomless pit down there, so I don't want to go this way. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. I think this is a complete pack. I hope. I say that, and all these consoles have like weird missing games. Look at that box. Look at that badass box. I like how it says, you look down there and you're like, this is theirs. No, it's Sagaya. Completely different. It's the same font and everything, man. It's the same title screen. I keep getting dangerously close to getting I own it on PC, but I keep getting close to buying the Switch version of Darius Burst, because I think that game is, I don't understand how to play it. I'm bad at these games, like this specific series, but there's so much game in that. I know some people are like, oh man, you just kind of repeat the same levels. Like, well, the levels they're the same, but it's like different enemy layouts and stuff like that, so they're not really the same You know, they have that mode where like you play against, you're on the cabinets and you got like, I don't know, like an entire universe technically to explore if that's your thing. Uh-oh. Shield broke. I'm not dead yet. Surprise, motherfucker. Uh-oh. Oh man, I think my first exposure to this series was playing, I think it's part of the same series, technically. Life Force, which is Salamander. I think it's a spin-off of these games. I just remember like seeing that at somebody's house as a kid and being like, man, what's this? It's like weird. There's something about that game that it's like, it's the entire organic thing, where it feels kind of like gross. Yeah, I've only played a handful of games in the series, because as you can see, I'm terrible at this. I'm better at vertical shmups, but I'm not super great at those either. This is the kind of game that I would love to play on, like, you know, Saturday night. You got a CRT TV, and this is on it. Maybe you got like a pizza or something. I don't know. What's appropriate? Like a pizza and some sort of drink. I guess nowadays, like, oh, if I was into alcohol, like that would be a great game to have like a beer with, and snacks. There's something about the glow of a CRT. I've got one in my closet behind me. I use every now and then. Gotcha. And that was another thing where, like, Gradius and Darius, I've never fully understood the huge difference between the two. I think they're two different things. Like, what, you know, the brand names, but, like, when I see them, I'm like, oh, these are kind of close. I think the power-up system is different, if I remember right. The weird fish stuff, too. Uh-oh. I'm always impressed when I see these games on these old consoles and like the speed that you move at, it's like this, like it's so fluid compared to, again, my I don't know why the go-to game I have is like 1942 on Nintendo, where like everything is extra choppy. I think later they said like, oh, it was what is that game? What company called? There's another company that made the game, but it's published under Capcom, so it looks like a Capcom game. Micronics? Something like that? I think it's the name of the company. My goodness. I think the only shooters I've been able to like get through without too much difficulty is what are they called? Oh my goodness. Is it Aero Fighters? SNK? Probably. Who was that? It's probably not SNK. It's probably somebody else. Alright. It's not too bad. What are these pilots, though? They're headed back into the fire. Do I have the manual? Do I actually have this on here? I might have this. I do. I don't think I have my controls set up, so I can't properly zoom in and out. Oh man. I downloaded a bunch of manuals at some point and just put them in different folders, and I don't know which ones I have. SDI. Let me see. Just so I know I'm not crazy. my comparison game. Game has really bad music in the arcade version anyway. This was the first version of this game I played. This is my go-to standard when it comes to like 8-bit versions of shooters. Like, is it better than this? If it's worse than this, you got some problems. Beautiful. I had as a kid, I had this book that I got from, my brother was in the Coast Guard for a really short period of time here. And, I think their East Coast base is, like, Cape May, New Jersey. So, my family went to Cape May when he got out of basic training. We were at the boardwalk. And I was just walking through random places. And I found a game design book. And it came with a floppy disk or a CD. It was kind of like a game maker type thing, and they showed you how to make a game like this. And this was when I was like, oh, what's this? And I think the book said specifically, it's inspired by 1942, and I got obsessed with looking for this game. I can't, this sound effect is awful. That music, man. I'm not gonna give it a 1. It technically plays okay, but it's just not quite there. There's Sensible Soccer on here? Interesting. From Sony ImageSofts. Double interesting. I don't think there's I don't think there's any version of 1942 in 2023 where it'd be like, hey, if you want to see an important game, go play this. I would tell people to play literally. I would say go play Space Invaders, go play Defender, go play Asteroids. Not so much 1942. And it's mostly because it's a lot to do with the music, but it's just like features and stuff that you expect in those games just aren't there. Can I just play a match? Oh. I'll take this. There you go. Maybe this game did deserve this weird review that it got. Whatever the score is. Almost. Almost. Uh-oh. Oh no. Man. Card. Is that a card? That's not a card. That's fine. What is that? That's me. Switch characters. What are you doing? The timing on the switches in this. Don't know how I feel about that. Good save. Person has like the worst passing accuracy. Oh man. Mm-mm. The interesting thing about this game is that like this has an extra button, I believe, like over the traditional like Amiga stick, but the controls feel worse. Like I should have more control, but it feels like I have less control. Don't know how that works. Oh man. Yikes. Number 8 does not pass well. Oh no. It's perfect. Yeah, I didn't know anything about this series until it was that book, and it was also what was the other thing? It came out on Xbox Live. There was Sensible World of Soccer that came out on Xbox Live in like maybe 2008 or something. And I had heard people talking about it on podcasts where they're like, "Oh, this is one of the best football series of all time." And I saw it. I was like, "What this?" And I played it. And I was like, "Oh, this is okay." Mostly because of the speed, and it's got like a lot of like control stuff that you can do. Hit the crossbar. That's fine. Keep kicking it up. Uh-oh. Well played. Well played. I don't think I don't know if I have any Atari ST games on here. I might. I might. I went through a thing where usually what happens is somebody will mention something. I was like, oh, let me check that out. And I download the entire library of games. I had almost done that with what was the one I was gonna regret doing that with? I don't it might have been the Spectrum, because there's so many games. You know, you hear people talk about like a handful of games on the Spectrum, but like you when you go to download the entire library, it includes all the educational stuff too. So you end up with like it's probably like 9,000 files or something, if not more. Let's see. Do I have the ST? I do. C64. That's the one. That's the one where I was like, oh, let me import all my games in the launch box. Oh no, what did I do? And now when I go in here to like load anything, it's like it looks like this because I need to go in here and like actually clean everything up. So Little Chinese Lipstick Adventure. Adventureland. What a great name for a game. This is Haunted Castle, I think. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if I ever finished setting this up. Probably didn't. I had these running at one point, but I think I switched the emulator and I forgot to like finish configuring it. And it was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna load these. Mostly because when I use this front end specifically, I'm sitting here with the controller and I don't want to like grab my keyboard. DOS. My DOS section is interesting because half of these games now I ended up buying on good old games. Let's see. Hmm. I think what would have got me to go into the ST was probably hearing Monkey Island 2 was on here. Because I've never really been into the Monkey Island games. I missed them. I didn't have a PC until like the late 90s. We did have one when I was like really young, but it broke like almost right away. So as a result, I didn't see them. Like they weren't on. I don't think they were. Maybe there was support for PlayStation or something, but I wouldn't have known about it. Mr. Boomer. Do 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 do. Ah, there we go. We do have a Double Dragon port. Let's see. I don't even know if this is set up properly. We'll see. Hmm. Uh-oh. I'm gonna actually use my mouse and keyboard. I didn't even get to press a button. That's fine. Let's back out of this. I think this is another one where I have like every single thing I could get for it. Yeah, I've heard about that. The thing about that though, like my understanding on the difference was that you guys had your games priced properly, whereas in the US they were trying to like they had shovelware during the Atari times, like the Atari and Intellivision and all that stuff, but they were charging regular price for some of the games, whereas I think like over there it's like you had all these like weird like indie games that were showing up in stores, but they might have been like $1 or $2 or whatever. You can get a bunch of them on a disc for maybe 10, whatever the equivalent is. Let's see. I don't know if the keyboard is even set up for this thing or not. Well, at least I get to see the menu. I don't know. Don't remember. Look at the back of the box, though. These screenshots. Man, I used to think this game looked incredible. This is basically the plot of Street Fighter 6's like World Tour mode. You just walk around and just fight random people. It is set to that. Interesting. Persona 5 Tactics. What's going on over here? Hold on. Persona 3 Reload. Oh, I guess there's some sort of a weird Microsoft thing going on right now. What if I don't want a trainer? What is the loading? Different times. Thinking. It's not loading, it's thinking. Totally different. This makes it acceptable. Oh Lord, there's no music? Why does it look all realistic? I don't like this. I don't know how I feel about this at all. This is weird. This feels wrong. Yeah, the only label I'm aware, the labels I'm aware of, they're not budget, I don't think, but Ocean and US Gold. They call them extra guys here. Not Tower Records, it's Power Records. It's totally different. This isn't Ninja Gaiden, or sorry, Double Dragon 3. This is a different game. This is a completely different thing. Like what are they doing? I love it. I love it. Who is this? This big strong man. This is definitely something different. This is better than the 2600 Double Dragon is. I will give it that. It's not saying much. That game is a hot mess. I think the problem with that game, I think it's the 7 or 2600 version where like the AI moves it's either at the same speed or faster than you do. Uh, uh, I can hear that car. Every game wanted you to do that. Come on. I'm Sunny. Sunny doesn't have time for this. The real Sunny would never deal with this. It's my favorite Double Dragon character, Sunny. Everybody knows Sunny. Mm. Yo, for real, man, it's no good. Well, I'm going to take a break for a bit because I need to eat. I've had food on my desk for the past like 2.5 hours. So anyway, should be back because it's only 5. I should be back later. But catch you later. Thanks for stopping by and peace out.